She started as a doctor of chiropractic, lost it all, then pivoted to become a TV host, media mogul, and one of America's top 100 crowdfunding consultants. This is the kind of reinvention we all need to hear. Today's guest is living proof that reinvention isn't just possible, it's powerful. Dr. Letitia Wright is a nationally recognized media expert, crowdfunding strategist, and founder of Wright Play Studios. After starting out in chiropractic medicine, she faced crushing loss, closed her practice, and rebuilt everything through TV and media. Now she helps professionals fund their dreams and amplify their voices across platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. Dr. Wright, welcome to Attention is the Currency. So good to have you on the show today.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here.
Well, we know that the value is absolutely going to be dropped. So much experience, and I'm sure that the listeners are waiting to hear your journey is wild, and that's in the best way. Let's go back to the first chapter in chiropractic care. What was your dream back then?
I've wanted to be a doctor since I was 3. I've been telling people I'm going to be a doctor. When I was about 13, my mother worked for a doctor in Pasadena, his name Dr. Thee. And so I would go into the clinic and wait in the waiting room, do my homework after school for the hours between school and when she got off. And I would see people walk in there all bent over. And then when they walked out, they were like, okay, bye, doc. See you next week. And I was like, wow, whatever he's doing in there is like almost magic because they were instantly better. It looked like they were instantly better. And so I got enamored with chiropractic and decided that is where I wanted to go. And so that's what I did. I grew up to be what I said I was going to be.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
I was little.
Well, that's good. Well, yeah, I said I was going to be a fireman when I was a kid, so I didn't quite go down that track. Was there a moment when you knew that career wasn't sustainable?
Yeah, I struggled in starting it. I didn't know that the other people in my class already had clinics and practices lined up. Like, I didn't know how any of that worked. And so I got a job working for another doctor. It was a very bad situation. He was going through a divorce with his wife, and his wife also had an office in there. It was horrible. And so, out of necessity, I kind of, tried to start my own practice. I did start off. But it was tough. It was tough. I didn't know how the cash flow worked. I didn't know how to bring in more patients. And I just really was struggling. And I came across a little studio a couple of towns over where you could go in and you could be interviewed on TV shows. And so I had this guy, I said, this is what I do. I'm a chiropractor. I can talk about health. He had me on the show. It was a really good show. I had a cute little outfit on and my hair was straight back then, but it was all like really nice and just, just went really, really well. And I went back to the studio and asked them about how someone gets a TV show, like this, because I thought, oh, this would be a great place to market my practice and get more people in here because I was just struggling. And, I got the information on that and I tried to get some help. I went to other doctors, asked them if they would mentor me. They said no. One doctor said, you have kids at home, right? Go home, be with your kids. Like, it was just like, no, 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 across the board. And then I applied for a practice management company, sent in an application, gave them my information. They called. I got excited. I got my pen. I'm like, okay, when is the consultant coming in to help me and give me the details of how it all works? And the woman said, Dr. Wright, we looked at your application and you don't make enough money to be a client.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I don't know where else to look. There was no SBA TV. There was no Shark Tank. There weren't a bunch of books out there about how to run a practice. I just didn't know what to do. Meanwhile, this little TV show I was doing about health was attracting sponsors. I could call my friends that I knew in business from networking and say, hey, would you sponsor a show? And they would do it. And then the electric company, Southern California Electric, sponsored me for $1,000 and the light went off. I was like, bing! oh, this TV show is a business. This is a business. And I was actually making more money, cash flow from the TV show than my practice. That's when I knew it was not sustainable.
Yeah. So that was really the pivot into the media, and then eventually into that crowdfunding from there.
Absolutely. Absolutely had to pivot. It was a dream I had for a long time, but the way I was pursuing it and the lack of help and assistance, it just wasn't working. Mentorship means a lot, you know. And the TV show, I don't know. I just had freedom. I could call anybody and just say, hey, guy, I got another
Yeah.
show. It's going to be this great guest. Your product would be a great fit. A commercial costs this much. Can I put you in? And people would just go, yeah, you know, it was just, and this is like 2000. This is before YouTube. This is
Yeah.
before YouTube. So getting on TV was a tough thing for businesses. And my show became a way for people to get their business out there and to showcase it.
Yeah. And then you've grown it into the national syndicate, and
Right. We were nationally syndicated on Dish TV for a few years. And then when streaming came along, I saw the opportunities to be on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV, and I took those. So that kept me from what we used to call bicycling in America. We used to call it bicycling when you had to take your show from studio to small studio, you know, city to city to city.
yeah.
That helped me cover much more territory, and you know it's working out fine. So I love having a Roku channel. I have a Roku channel because they're biggest. They have the software. I have an Amazon Fire TV channel. They're easiest. Everybody has an Amazon account and they can easily get your channel into their system. And then I have an Apple TV show because people on Apple products, they're more affluent, so you can make more money off of a smaller tribe, and they don't need a lot of tech support. Like they know how to download and get your show. Like you don't have to teach them, well,
Yeah.
where do I get it? You don't have to teach them anything. Apple people are quiet, wealthy, quiet, and tech savvy. So,
Yeah.
you know, in those three markets, you can really get everybody you need.
Well, yeah. Well, you're the expert in pivoting, really, because you don't let the technology leave you behind. It's You're gonna go straight into the because
Yeah, you just see, you know, you can always get help, you know, when you get started off. And, you know, now I see myself, back then it was pivoting to streaming. Now, of course, we've got a lot of AI and I'm learning a lot about AI, but there's so many people out there to help you. So you don't have to feel like, oh, I don't know anything. It's like it
yeah.
doesn't take much to learn.
Well, it's definitely a lot better connected than probably in the early days of your practice, there wasn't as many
Mhm.
resources around as well. That's where the internet has opened
That's
it right
true.
up for us.
Right, that's
Just,
true.
yeah. And it's TV is still such a powerful tool. You
It
consider,
is.
especially for women and minority entrepreneurs, to
Absolutely, because to be honest, TV and podcasts, you know, video podcasts do the same thing as
yeah,
TV in this regard. They really make you look better than you are. But the caveat is that if you're in trouble, you do something bad, they make you look worse than you are. You know, you look like you're, you know, should be going to you know where,
yeah,
or you should be wearing a halo. And so it really allows people to get to know you. And people are savvy. I know people are worried about AI tricking them into believing somebody said something, and they might be tricked temporarily, but people can really hone in on what's the real you. They're not interested in a fake personality. They're interested in authenticity,
yeah,
and you can create a following with TV and podcasts that can be very small yet very lucrative. Because if you just had 1,000 people pay you $200 over a year,
yeah.
that's a $200,000 year,
It definitely
like
is.
easy peasy. So it's TV and podcasts have a lot of leverage. We are moving away from the other broadcasts and the other kind of TV into streaming. Streaming is definitely taken over. Uh, but even so, because people are owning their property, they're owning their space, You're able to bring in the profitability that you need. You can also have the show go in the exact direction that you need. You can be on someone else's channel, but you can be on your own and follow your own North Star. And so that I think is very important because right now people are feeling like their news and their information is being filtered through someone else's filter. So when you have your own podcast, you have your own show, you're able to share what you want to share without the filter of other things. So that's why we have all these journalists. They're like, well, they're not real journalists, but hey, they're coming up with the information and people are following them.
Yeah.
So you can say they're not real journalists if you want to, but social media, oh, they're not journalists. They may not have gone to school and got the skills, but they still, for the most part, come up with the same information. It's not better than what we're getting on broadcast TV. So I think this is a very important time that if you are considering media as your platform. I'm a video girl. Yes, I'll do audio. I have no problem with that, but I love a camera. You know, my grandfather was a photographer, so I'm very comfortable in front of the
Yeah.
camera. You know, they say there isn't a camera Dr. Wright don't love. So we're just but this is an important time that you can really dig your heels in, get a tribe because you don't need 200,000 million people like CBS does.
Yeah.
You can do very well with just 1,000 people.
Yeah. Captivating the attention because the attention is the currency.
It is absolutely.
That's no, that's really good, great, Letitia. Well, yeah, it's yeah, I think it's amazing these days that so many people have more access to be able to do it as well, and you're giving them that access as well, making it more reachable for everyone. But also, you've become one of America's top 100 crowdfunding consultants as well. What sort of drew you into that space?
Well, I'm old enough to remember more than one recession. And so at the time, money was tight. I was watching people get turned down by banks, and credit was very tight in America. And I kept hearing this thing, crowdfunding. I was looking into it. Wasn't a whole lot about that. There were only 3 books on Amazon under the crowdfunding category at this time. And a friend of mine wrote a book called A Pug Named Fender, and he crowdfunded it. And so I got to watch his dog's name is Fender. That was about his dog who had passed away. So he kind of wrote this tribute book. And I watched his whole process, and it was amazing. And I was like, this is what entrepreneurs need to find the money for what they're doing. And they don't have to go to the whole world. They can just go to their tribe and raise this money. And so I was very excited about the concept. And so I was reading about it and I called 10 friends and I said, listen, I've been learning this thing, crowdfunding. I want to raise this money for your business, $10,000 for your business, because I want the practice. You know me, you know, I'm an honest person. Will you let me do this for you? I can't promise you anything because I'm just doing it. So I had 10 friends that said, yeah, okay, let's go. And 6 went very well. And I took notes on how everything worked and what really worked and what didn't work. 4 were horrible. You know, they crashed and burned, and you can still see the smoke from here. And it was just like, oh my gosh, okay, so this is what went wrong over here. And so I got to learn it, and I started teaching and raising money for other people, raised $5,000 for my own book. I mean, I just started doing things that would help other entrepreneurs raise money. And, you know, I had the fortune of being one of the first women, you know, in there. So I got asked to speak at a lot of events, and it was just really helpful for people to know they weren't at the mercy of the system and that the people, the crowd, their tribe could be of help to them, even if there was somebody that could only give them $1.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, the trial and error. I think that can be lost in today's world, that people don't want to give it a shot and people are afraid to fail. Is the always something that I see holding them back a lot, and you probably see that a lot with the clients that you work with, that because I guess your friends would have gone through that same thing. Well, what if it doesn't work? And that's where
Yeah, what if it doesn't work? And the cool thing about crowdfunding is that when it doesn't work, you've got all this data to use as to why it did not work.
yeah,
So if you were selling cat food to dog people, you're going to figure that out before you make all that dog food, or like cat food, because you know, oh, this is the wrong people. They're not buying. And so that's what I like about crowdfunding, because it's great at testing. Before you spend all the money on the product, you will know if you cannot sell it, it's time to stop. Something is wrong. You're either selling to the wrong person, the product isn't up to par, it isn't what people really want, it isn't solving enough problems. So you can very easily do that. But the other thing is that people don't want other people to see them fail. And and I got to remind people, people are so busy and they are so in their own bubble, and there's so much going on, especially if you're American, and you know what I mean.
Yeah.
There's just-
I, I'm Australian. We've got our own things down here too.
yeah, we've got this constant news cycle. Um, Nobody's thinking about you as much as you think they are.
Yeah.
You think that you have this crash and burn, and every time you walk into the room, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, remember when they crashed and burned?"
Yeah.
Tell your friend, with all peace and love in my heart, I'm saying this in love. 90 days later, they are not thinking about you or your crash. They have their own problems. And so if you can get it in your mind that that failure is not the center of attention, you can let it go and move on.
Yeah. No, definitely. That's great advice. I'm sure we're going to clip that one into a short clip. That's well. How does what is a mistake that you see most often when people are trying to raise money online? What is the biggest mistake?
The biggest mistake is that they're very inwardly focused. And so the campaign is help me do this. If you help me do this, I'll be forever great. I'll give you the what it is that everybody's listening to station, what's in it for me, FM, what's in it for me. And so you have to really bring people into an adventure, something fun, not save my business or I'm going under. Save my business because you want one of these and it's going to be fun. And we're going to have a party where we're all massage. This is my new scalp massager. Scalp, we're all massaging our scalp, just whatever it is. And so they're so inwardly turned, me, me, me. They're not thinking about the people who may give you money. What is in it for them? Why would they want to be a part of this? And not because they just want to help you. They want something for themselves. So make sure you're putting something in it for them. That's the biggest mistake.
Yeah. Well, they want to be part of the journey, and they want to. Yeah. So, how does someone actually get started if they have a mission but no big following? Uh,
Well, one of the things that you can do is that you can use your connections. So you may not have a big email list. Some people are like, I got 500 people. Okay, that's not a lot. I know it's a lot, but it's not for crowdfunding. What you want to do is you want to partner with other people who have large lists. For example, I could call you and say, hey, I'm raising money for this and this and this. Would you mind putting out a little blurb to your tribe? Some people will do it for free because they're your friends. Some people say, yeah, I do it, but I charge $100 for those. Okay, $100 to reach that audience that may know you or they're endorsing you is absolutely worth it. And then what you do is you partner up with people who have large email lists so you can get the word out about what you're doing. Because that's the biggest thing, is not enough people know about what you're doing.
yeah, that's great
So you can
advice.
start with zero.
Yeah, definitely. Uh, and also, you've taught in Thailand, Vietnam, and across the US. What message lands the hardest wherever you go when you're doing your teaching?
Well, in that situation where I'm teaching, I'm teaching crowdfunding. I teach for a school called Accelerated. It is a business school that moves around the world. I'll be back in Thailand again in November, but it goes all over the world.
You haven't
And
got to
I
Australia yet. Haven't got to.
no, we were in Australia a couple
Yeah.
of years
Oh,
ago.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So it was beautiful near the beach, and except they said don't lay on the beach because alligators were coming. I don't know if it's alligators or
Amazing.
crocodiles, but they said you can walk on the beach, but don't lay on the beach. So in
Okay,
case you got
I
to
don't know
run,
which
you can
beach you were on, but
Right. It was weird. It was like, so all of us were like walking the beautiful beach, but we were all scared to like, we didn't lay down. The
yeah,
resort told us that. I don't know what the deal was. But I have finally been to Australia, beautiful country. Where I was on the coast, and it was very much like California. So that was interesting. It
yeah,
was very similar. But yeah, we move around the world, and like I said, we're We're back in Thailand again in November. But Accelerated Schools is an immersive 10-day program, and you're there all day and you're working with other people, and you're working with international people. I was a student at that. I did that program myself. And so it was amazing, life changing. And I still have friends from all over the world from that.
Yeah.
The thing is that you have to really let yourself get connected. Let yourself really learn, because you're going to have all kinds of teachers and all kinds of experiences. And it's an amazing, amazing immersive experience. So on that program, I'm always teaching crowdfunding. So it's like how to fund your dream, how to fund what you're doing using the crowd that you have around you. So that is what I teach all over the world. Another thing that I teach is the pivot. And when I talk about the pivot, because I talk about all the pivots I've made in my life to get to where I'm going, that is really the message that you can change. Small changes lead up to big change in your life without, you don't have to go on total withdrawal. You just have to make these small changes in succession to help you get to the next step. And you can bring everything you've learned with you. So you're never starting from the bottom, even if you're starting over.
Well, with all this going on, what does legacy look like to you now? What are you
Ah,
really?
legacy for me, in terms of philanthropy, our family's into literacy and into helping the unhoused. So literacy, there's a library named after my grandfather in Altadena, California. Yes, that Altadena that you heard was burning in America.
Uh,
Uh, the town did, I used to live there. The town did receive a lot of damage, but the library did not. And so they're having a reopening on August 19th. So we support literacy, learning to read. It's named after my grandfather's Bob Lucas Literacy Center in Altadena. And then helping the unhoused. I want to do more and more outreach to the unhoused, a little bit of a bridge between the people on the street and the people getting to shelters. And so I try to connect with organizations that have places for people to go, to make sure that the unhoused people know, hey, there is something for you. But we also, my whole family, we have little Ziploc bags that have water, a little snack, some socks, some toothpaste, some soap, some, cleaning items, even, hand sanitizer, because being clean, it's helpful. Being clean gives you dignity. And so we hand out those bags to people who are on the street or who are having signs. Our family, we have all these cars. So the team said it should be mandatory that everybody has the bags in the car. Because we went somewhere and
yeah,
someone was asking and I didn't have my bag. And he's like, this should be mandatory. And I was like, you're right, it's gonna be mandatory.
yeah,
So we do
great.
outreach in that way. And
Yeah,
so for me, legacy is just growing that outreach, growing that opportunity, helping people who are on the street, helping kids who are on the street. You don't see children as much because they do a lot of couch surfing. They do a lot of uh, notorious things to keep themselves off the street. They do what they can, but you have to imagine how hard their home life must have been that they thought, I'm going to take my chances on the street,
yeah.
because that means their home life was horrible and they were facing horrible things. So it's about really branching out, giving people love and opportunity for healing and a place to stay so that they can get it together.
That's beautiful. Well, I think we should adopt bringing the little bags in the car as well, because I think that's a great way to help that actually, yeah, the energy of cleaning themselves up as well could be what they need to push themselves into a better place.
Yes, yes.
And how are you building leaders, not just businesses, through your Right Place Studios?
Well, the Right Place Studios, building leaders, the studios is really about helping the leaders get their message out. Within the pivot is really where I feel like I'm building leaders, because teaching people how to pivot, how to be resilient, how to deal with women deal with a lot of microaggression, even right now. Um, how to really set your sights on your North Star so clearly that things don't throw you off. It has to be something really major. Things can happen, family members can get hurt or sick or something like that. It's not something you can expect. And of course, you're going to want to put some time and energy into that. But there are outside forces that are coming at you, trying to throw you off track that you absolutely don't have to succumb to. But you need to really be connected deeply to what it is you're doing. Not doing it because you think it's a good idea, but because that's what makes your heart happy. I can see a homeless person no matter where I go. I can spot them. And I was at an event with some friends, Maria and Chad. Love them if they're watching. Thank you so much. And I came to the event, and someone from the event, another hotel room, dressed in a nice suit. He's like, "Hey, we just had a pizza party, but we have some extra pizza. Do you want some?" And I said, no. And I said, "Well, what are you going to do with it?" And he said, "Well, we got some pizza and some chicken, and we're going to go give it to some homeless people." And I said, "I know exactly where they are. Can I come with you?" And they were like, I said, "They're literally right across the street." They were going to walk a couple of blocks and see if they could find some homeless. I knew exactly where they were. And so the way the hotel was sitting, it was sitting near a freeway overpass. So the driveway was like super long, but by the time you got to the street and go down there, boom, there's the overpass. And for some reason, that was one of the few overpasses that was lit. It was lit under there, you could see. And there was artificial grass there. So I believe Miami purposely has that like that for people who are unhoused, because it was like you could see, it's not dark, you know. And so I'm walking down to the people, and they're supposed to be walking with me, but I'm like, la la la, I'm just doing what I always do, right? La 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 la. And I said, "Hey, we have some pizza for you. Is it is okay if I bring it?" And so, and I turn around and look at them. They're like they're way back there, and I'm like, "Come on, come on." So I bring the pizza box. I open it up so they can see that that's what it is. I'm not pranking anybody or, being whatever. They said, "Yeah, we're all hungry." And I said, "Great. Okay, we have this and we have this." And so I told the girl, "Give her the pizza." She puts it on the floor and shoves it.
Yeah.
So I went and picked it up and I handed it to them in their hand,
Yeah.
and handed them the other food. And I just said, "God bless you." So we walked back to the hotel. That couple was so excited that they had fed the homeless, right? And I was like, they were like, "How did you know they were there?" Literally, you have to pass by these people to get to the hotel.
Yeah.
So there's nobody in the hotel that should have not seen these people under the bridge. Like you could see it right there. It wasn't far away. It wasn't, they're like right there. And I said,
Everyone walking with a tunnel vision. They don't want to.
right. I said, unhoused people are right there. You just
Yeah.
don't see them. And so the rest of the weekend, I'd be doing stuff and people would come up to me and go, "Are you the lady that feeds the homeless?" I'm like, "Yeah, we heard about you. You went." It was like, "Oh, okay." So
Yeah.
by the end of the weekend, everybody had heard about me and all of this. But the
Yeah.
couple was absolutely thrilled. They felt so special that they were able to not waste food, and those people got help. No, we couldn't give them everything, but we gave them something, and that's what's important.
It definitely is. Yeah. Well, you made an impact and gave them the respect. It's and you're building 100 TV channels.
Yeah, I mean, it's for people that want to have one. We're
Yeah.
up to about 45 right now.
Yeah.
And I've built channels for people that really want to get their message out. They have content, they want to move forward, they want to really showcase everything, and they understand that, what they have to do to maintain it. And I take care of all the tech part of it. So your shows are up and rolling,
Yeah.
and you just have to create content. And so it works out very, very well. And I enjoy it. I just feel like there's 100 people that have a message that should be out there.
Yeah. No, that's perfect. Well, it's the vision there. And what are you most excited about in the next season of your life? What's coming up?
Wow, the next season of my life, I am very excited about really moving more into the philanthropy part, um, moving into a little more work with people one on one in terms of pivoting and changing things. I think those two things are really lighting me up. Eventually, it'll just be the philanthropy I'll be doing. And, that's kind of the direction that I'm going.
That's good. That's perfect. And the most important question of the interview. I warned you about this one. This is uh, because if attention is the currency, what should people stop wasting it on and start investing it in?
Stop wasting your attention currency on people who are not into what you're talking about. The days of convincing somebody are over. Instead of convincing cat people to buy dog food, just go to dog people. Don't go to bird people who might have a dog, who might know somebody who has a dog. No, go to people who want and need what you have. Stop wasting it on somebody who might tell somebody. We are waiting for too much of that. Solve the problem and you get paid today. Solve the problem for the person right now. Solve their problem. Don't wait for them to, they might tell somebody or they might, no, is it for them? Spend your currency time talking to the people who want and need what you have. They have the problem, they have the desire. It's either desire or solving a problem. That's the only two things. Not they're just interested. Somebody interested can waste a whole lot of your time that you could be spending with someone who you can solve the problem and they'll buy from you.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Find the right people, give them the right message out there. Dr. Wright, thank you for showing up. Us that a closed door is often a divine redirection. From medicine to media, you've turned pain into purpose and platforms into impact. Follow her at rightplacetv.com and watch her shows on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV. If you're ready to pivot with purpose, hit play, take notes, and pass this on. Thank you very much, Letitia.
Thank you so much. It's been so fun. Thank you.
And we'll see you all in the next episode of Attention is the Currency.